I guess it's Pride Month, so...
I'm hardly dressed for a party.
Today we're talking about Guilty Gear's one and only Grim Reaper, Testament. So Testament wasn't always this nice originally. Testament was originally a pacifist, loved people, loved all of that. But then they got turned into a gear, which made them cynical of humans, and basically if you saw Testament, you were doomed. And that's why Testament basically goes under the title of the Grim Reaper. However, Testament reverted back to a pacifist after realizing all of the damage they had done and went into an area known as the Forest or the Grove. That's where Dizzy also is. However, that forest got burned down and Testament was thought to be dead. But Testament is in fact alive and is also non-binary now. Let's see. Doo-doop. Doo-doop, doo-doop. Oh, look here! Testament is in fact non-binary. Case closed. See, Testament was always androgynous, but Guilty Gear has now officially made them non-binary. It's because gears technically can't have gender, which would technically implicate Dizzy too. Well, that's a little iffy. Well, Testament only cares now about tea and being a pacifist and just vibing, so yeah, that's basically them. On to the analysis. Hello everyone, this is David Leibowitz with Philosophy POV Game Philosophy, and we just did a little lore breakdown of Testament. Again, it is Pride Month, so we're going to talk about our non-binary lad. Ground rules, I am not trained in musical theory, I am a philosopher. I know my Jungian psychology, I know my academic stuff. I am a trained singer. I haven't took a lesson since high school, but I can definitely give you all the performance notes that I can, and will sing during the video, well, while it's paused, to give you some performance notes. But without further ado, let's talk about Testament's theme, like a weed, naturally, as a matter of course. Loving the little shred at the beginning. It's like revving up. It's revving. It's just revving up their thing. I like it. But we're getting the lyrics soon. It's not evil or sacred, it's just life. This is the idea that life, because if we think about it in an Augustinian way, many people in the Christian tradition think that life and the body is fundamentally evil. And therefore they try to retreat, they try to look for a higher power. There's even the strongest version of this, which is the Gnostic tradition, which basically says that the whole world is evil and impure, and there's this higher monad that we need to look to. Testament is saying, no, it's just life. It's not evil. It's not sacred. It's life. And you should respect life. He just doesn't defy the gravity of something. So as we said in the lore breakdown, Testament in Guilty Gear Strive is now non-binary. So we're going to have a back and forth between the he and the she and them being together and united. This is what I believe I interpret as the Jungian notion. Carl Jung very famously is the influence of the Persona series, which we just talked about last video, and the video before that, because Persona 3 Reload's coming out. That's going to be great. We have the he and the she. So this is known as the Animus and the Anima. The Animus is the masculine version part of a woman. The Anima is the feminine part of a man. So if you have someone that's non-binary, in my opinion, and I guess in a more progressive times, I don't know if Jung would even say, Jung would probably still say that you have, that Testament is biologically male, that they have a anima, but I think that because Testament is constantly flipping between genders, is very fluid about it, and it's non-binary, that they have an anima and an animus, and that the masculine and feminine parts of them can be balanced. So he doesn't just defy the gravity of something. So the male, the masculine part that is maybe more thinking forward, taking initiative, thinking about what's happening outside in the world, versus the feminine, which is more looking inward and is dealing with the unconscious. So he doesn't defy. It's like he doesn't. The animist isn't going to look at the situation, understand that it's all BS. The animist is going to say, okay, we got to do something about this. But let's see what the next lyric says. Life sustenance, life respected. Testament, again, is the Grim Reaper in a way. So this song is about the cycle of life, which is fantastic. I love it. That's why I picked it so early, because it's about the meaning of life. But life sustenance, okay, so we gotta have life, we gotta have sustenance, we gotta eat something. But we respect life. We respect life because we have this outward relationship towards life that isn't telling us to say, okay, we need to abhor it. We can't go away from it. No, we respect life. We go outwardly towards it. It's drawn to each other. Hans Jonas, I talked about Hans Jonas, is a Jewish philosopher that talks, a Jewish German, goes to America later on because of the Holocaust. He wants to go away from that. We are drawn. Hans Jonas says that life is drawn to each other because it is a reciprocal relationship. Because we have, even from a small bacteria, is drawn to outward, to have a motive in the world, to have volition, to have a will. And that is why, when we go up to humans, why we should have a reciprocal responsibility for life. Now, Testament's story ends up in getting in a forest fire, but caring for the forest. Testament cares about nature and cares about the forest. So they love nature, which means that we should be responsible towards all life and respect it. And there's the ubiquity of existence. It's ubiquitous. Who is Testament? Are they male, female? No, they're non-binary. There's a ubiquity. Also, Testament is very high standing, high class, likes tea, so they will use a big word like ubiquity. Life is radiant, but even though it isn't sacred or evil, it's radiant. It's radiant. Life should be utterly respected because there is a joy to life. We need to go out and seek life. She doesn't need a name to distinguish him. This is now the anima is talking back to the animus. The anima is saying, so that's the unconscious, that's Gaia, that's Mother Earth, talking to the higher initiative animus and saying, no, I don't need a name to distinguish. We can be in balance. These two sides of ourselves, the more maybe spiritual and the more animal, can be together, especially since we have Testament, which is half human, half gear. So gear is mechanistic in a way, but also is more animal in a way. Because a lot of the majority of the gears are like, they don't think. I mean, think about Zappa in Guilty Gear XX. Like, Zappa gets his stuff together in Guilty Gear XR Revelator, where he's a normal person working for some organization, but Zappa was like on his back feet walking like an animal. Like, Zappa's a gear. Actually, I actually don't know if Zappa's a gear. I think Zappa's a gear, or at least it was a gear. I don't know, but yeah, let's continue. Distinguish him. Oh, she flies through. She flies through the back. She. Because she is the unconscious, the proud darkness. The proud darkness that allows us to understand and go through our unconscious selves and go into ourselves and accept our animality, accept the animal nature of ourselves. The proud darkness, rather than the breathless vastness the world. Like, we have a little the world. It's like it sounds like it's sort of like going under a little bit. Of the world. So we're clearly not going up. We're flying, but we're not flying too high because we're in the darkness. We're in the underbelly. Now, the breathless vastness of the world is the idea that, okay, so no, I'm not gonna try to grasp for something in reality. I'm gonna stay in my unconscious. Testament doesn't really care, is gonna stay in the shadows. They are going to not be involved in world affairs. They're like happy chaos. They say that they don't need to be important, but they just want to be left alone. They just want to vibe. Excuse me. They want to vibe and be normal. They don't want to do everything, especially after being a killing machine during the Crusades. So, yeah. And yet, he did not reject the light himself. There were lights. He did not reject the light herself. But the darkness, the anima, is talking back to the animus and saying, no, but there's one, he, the animus, is not saying to the anima that there is in fact light in that darkness, and that we can find from the Gaia, from the darkness, light itself. We can turn darkness into light. But also that herself, the anima, is talking to the animus and saying, okay, you have this light. It doesn't matter. Or maybe I won't be in the breathless vastness of the world, but I'm going to be myself. I'm going to fully accept who I am. The animus is going back to the anima and saying, okay, no, but you're one of my chain. You are together. The anima and the animus can have this nice notion of balance. And that is, when we balance these two energies, that's the Jungian notion of individuation. If you know Persona 4, you know that that's the big thing, as in all of Persona, that when you accept all the dark parts of yourself that you reject, especially the other gender side of yourself, then you can be whole. Now, since Testament is non-binary, there's sort of a way in which there's easier for them to accept both the masculine and feminine sides of themselves. I, again, don't know if that's how Jungians actually see it, but I think, to me, it makes perfect sense. No. It's revving up. It's like you sort of hear the gearness to it, right?
It's no exception, it's just less. I guess you.
He's like sounds a little fierce. I guess. Okay, let's finish. Let's finish this.
Trust a gentle tiger.
Gentle tiger. Like there's a little. It's like again we're not going too high in this because we're still notion of the earth. But the gentle tiger, Testament again, the Grim Reaper, killing machine. Even though they don't want to hurt anyone, they're a pacifist now. You mess with Testament, they will mess you up. That's basically it. Testament may look like a gentle tiger, but Testament can light the floor with people like Nagoriyuki. Alright, do you guys like Bohemian Rhapsody? This is about to sound like Bohemian Rhapsody, and I love it. Rulers aren't afraid of the wind. I get it. It's like Galileo, Figaro from Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, this is easily a reference to Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, look at Testament. Testament looks like something an outfit that Queen would put on. Or if not, I mean, again, the non-binary nature clearly sees why they probably went to some influence from Queen. But let's continue the thing to get out exactly this great line. For the rustling. I mean, again, also Bohemian Rhapsody is represents to a rhapsody into something classical, and you can easily see that Testament has that more classical nature to them. I think if you go to their XX theme, Bloodstained Lineage, you also have more of that classicalness in that theme, which we played in the lore breakdown. But the actual substance of this, the rustling of the trees would take the night from them. This is very important. This is the idea that in our current society, Masahiro Morioka, we're going to go into a Japanese philosopher, actually a current one, talks about this notion of painless civilization. That we are currently in a domesticated sense. When we put ourselves in civilization, we find ourselves wanting to not be in pain. So our current society wants complete control over nature, and again, Testament loves the forest, wants to protect the forest, specifically the area known as the Grove, where Dizzy also cares about. Another gear. So if there's any little single thing that is not perfect, like the rustling of the trees, the rustling of the trees, like it's like the rustling, like you even hear a little bit in the performance, like it's a little uncomfortable, even though it sounds great, like the rustling, like it's means to shake things up, which makes sense. This is actually like there's a lot of shaking things up. It's like the game is constantly about like rebirth and giving a newness to it, because it's a cycle of existence, because Testament is the Grim Reaper. So if we go to a Nietzschean Zarathustrian sense, Nietzsche talks about how the people who are scared of life don't want to go outside. But if we accept life, if we accept the animal, if we become the Übermensch, we can go outside and fully accept and love the earth.
Oh, he flies to be the wings of the flight trails, fly high to be seen from everywhere.
To be seen from everywhere. It's like, again, it's the thing is it's like, again, it's about the wings of the flight. So he's not going too high, but it starts, oh, he flies. Like, it's a little bit more in baritone range. It's not, we're not in tenor range yet. Again, if you know your musical and chorus, what that is. But like, no, but I fundamentally am everywhere. I am the Grim Reaper. I am life itself. I'm in the collective unconscious. I am utterly everywhere. Like, even though Testament may be in the shadows, Testament still has an ego, still has the Animus talking to people and saying, no, I am still a person. I am a gear, but I am human and I deserve to be respected. He believes. Like, now we're going higher again. We're going back to high. We're going back into high again. Again, we're going back to the sky. She's one of Jane. We're both together. We're both together. Chain. We're going back high. We're getting a little testy now. Testament doesn't mean business. Oh. We give a little nod to some classicalness. Like, we got a little like, it sounds like we're going back to a symphony. It sounds great. But now we're revving it up again. We're going back to no, I'm still gonna mess you up. This is not some classical tea time stuff. This is me beating you up. Even though I'm a pacifist and I don't want to, but I can. I'm very powerful. Sorry.
Oh, he flies through.
Oh, he flies through the proud darkness. He. Meaning that now the Animus is the hero. This is the notion of the hero. The hero goes inside, goes into the underworld, which again, Testament, Grim Reaper makes perfect sense, into the underworld to find the Animus, sort of like Orpheus, like if you go personal, going in to find to see Eurydice, and find something out. We find that there is this nice connection between these two and how they are perfectly now in balance because they have the hero accepting the darkness in themselves and finding light from it. Of the world! Like, okay, So now both of them are actually now submerged into the darkness. Both he and she are in the darkness, which is great. So that means they're both just there. Like now their egos are both dead. That's Testament for you. Testament just doesn't care, just wants to be left alone. But wants to vibe with people and say, hey, do you want some tea? Cool. Yeah, so she's not rejecting the light. She's not rejecting the light. She's saying no, but I still want to be in the world. I still want to be in balance with the world. But she flies. That they're going together. And they're still flying, but through going into the darkness, they're able to rise back up like Icarus, back like an angel, into the sky, and want to help people and be great, but stay a pacifist because they have found this new enlightened way towards the world, and it's fantastic. This is a Nietzsche way. So Nietzsche is going to say, but we can't look at the world with moon eyes. We can't do that. We need to look at the world with the sun. So Testament has this this is actually perfect. Because Testament basically went into the night, was perfectly a pacifist, then became a killing machine, then came back out to be the sun, became innocent, to be pacifist, to be adorable, and to want to just have tea. So it's sort of like the cycle of Testament cycle going through life, and it's fantastic. Sort of like the two sides. Like I feel like she is the more peaceful Testament, and he is maybe the Testament that is the killing machine. So that didn't trust humans. So it's sort of this nice little back and forth between that. But the special day is like, no, I don't need to be respected. I don't need to look at the earth and say, okay, look at me, I'm so awesome. No, they just want to be vibe with the animals. That's it. It's cool. She just wants to be there like a weed, naturally. As a matter of course. So, the weed. This is obviously the title of the song, right? We're here. The weed is, again, something that is, we like to, in our gardens, take out weeds, right? So, but Testament, as we see in Testament's arcade mode, just wants to vibe, just wants to walk around, doesn't want to mind anyone's business, just wants to be as basically as normal as just a blade of grass. Testament just wants to be completely humble in the face of life. Doesn't want to be any grandiose. And this is how we should all be. Is this like a weed, naturally, as a matter of course. And of course, naturally, as a matter of course, is just to be a little bit more highfalutin, and it's great. But that's just all he is. It's just vibing. Just don't care. It's sort of like the opposite of Happy Chaos. Like Happy Chaos wants to now make an absolute show, wants to be the director. Testament's sort of like the opposite. Testament just wants to be like, well, I'm there. I'm cool. Let's have some tea. Overchain. Sorry. Matter of course. She believes we are one. I love that. We are one. All right. Well, that was Testament's theme. Again, not as much to say about Testament as our previous people, but I love it. It's Jung meets Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's fantastic. So, I actually am going to give you, since we did some 2 Persona 3 remake things past, I'm going to give you one of those 2 requested, well, not requested, but 2 things that I might say. So, it will be next track will either be The Circle or The Town Inside Me. I promise you that. Okay? And the other one will happen by the end of this month. I promise. All right. Peace. This has been Natalie with Philosophy of Vegan Philosophy. It's time we go. Oh, one last little thing. We have a Discord server. We're talking about Jung. We're talking about the undiscovered self. Please go there. It's great. We have a little community. We'd love to expand it. And yeah, sorry about constantly rambling, but... And I have my Twitter, Floshspiel, @Floshspiel. If you want to see some updates through there. All right, now peace.